So I shared the document in the chat for the agenda, and I think we can kick it off. Please add yourself to the list of attendees if you didn't do yet. I think Stacy just listed everyone, so thank you. So let's start with news about Keptn retirement, in particular for B1. In 2 days from today, we will retire Keptn B1 because it reached end of life. And for that, tomorrow we will do the last final release and start the process, sorry, to migrate every current things towards the new Keptn lifecycle things. That includes making all the old Keptn B1 repo read-only, close all existing issues and open PRs, disable any automation that we have there, and update for the final time that get.keptn.sh, which is used to download the latest version of Keptn. And after that, no more support for that version. You are free to fork it and maintain by yourself, but we will not provide any security update or any fix for anything. Then we have 2 issues open, and I think are from you, Meg, listed here.
I did not add those.
Yeah, I don't know. Were those
I think I
carryovers
copied
maybe
those.
from the?
I may have copied them
Okay.
from the previous one.
Maybe they were just a copy paste from an existing thing then.
I glanced at it and thought maybe it was the PR for the retiring Keptn B1.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but I see an open PR, so maybe since we have some maintainer in the talk in the meeting today, please review this PR so Sudipto can finally merge his contributions. Well, then Stacy, up to you.
Yeah, I just had a question if we were going to participate in Google Summer of Code or Google Season of Docs. I think I looked at the deadlines coming up to submit, and they're like for projects, they're in January, the end of January. So like as soon as we all get back, if we want to do that, then we'll have to turn that around very quickly if so. So I figured I'd mention it now and get a read on things. See how you guys are feeling.
I don't want to speak for everyone, but Google Summer of Code was quite successful. Rakshit did an amazing job with a metric operator, so I'm confident that we will get the same experience next time. So I would vote to participate. For the docs, I don't have much information.
We've never done that. When we had last year, because we didn't have a community manager, we had issues and we didn't manage to get stuff set up. So I don't know. We had people who were interested in it last year, and it might be interesting.
Usually the Season of Docs runs later in the year,
Right,
but I
it
can
starts
try and
later.
gather up, yeah, some more information. And
But there's an overlap. I think it started like the middle of something, but I would certainly be interested in doing it if we had anybody who wanted to. Especially if we have, I guess it'd be like last year that CNCF will do a lot of the administrative work for us.
yeah,
So
is that how we worked last year when you did Google Summer of Code? Is that the CNCF got approved and then Keptn was one of the CNCF projects? Okay.
yes, we went through the CNCF because we
Mhm.
tried to do without in the previous year and was quite a lot of effort. And
Okay.
instead with the CNCF was quite easy. They handle all the bureaucracy for us.
Was there a particular person that you guys got in contact with, or how did, I'm just wondering, like, should I reach out to folks now just so that we can get a read on it from them?
Flo and Andre, do you remember how we
I
did
think
it?
David handled it.
Okay. I'll ping him. Right.
Okay. And at what level? What would you like to have as an answer here?
I don't know what that means. I think I was just maybe it's like kind of how do we want to participate? And
Like, how many projects do we want to try to do is one question.
If I remember correctly, if we participate with CNCF, we can propose multiple topic,
mhm, we can.
but per project they will choose only one or something like that. There was like a limitation they had,
Okay.
but we can propose more than one. So we had, I don't know, a few applicants for multiple topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a note so we won't forget. Anything else for this, Stacy? Do you have more questions, or do you want already someone that commits to it? Or
I think for now that's fine. Maybe we can just gather a little bit more information, and then when we all get back, we can pick that topic back up again.
okay, perfect.
Sounds good.
And then the one more thing is we aren't meeting next week. What about, is it the 3rd of January? We can resume then, or do we want to wait till the following week?
Let's see.
I would be on vacation the 3rd.
Yeah, I think we have our next meeting scheduled. There's a new contributor meeting on the 8th of January, and then the next one after that is the 10th of January. So I think
Okay.
those are our first couple of meetings after the holiday break.
So the next 2 iterations will be skipped, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, just because everybody's going to be out.
Okie dokie. So I think this is everything for the status updates. So let's jump into the documentation part. Yes, Meg, please go ahead.
Or go ahead. Just at the same time that we remove Keptn V1, we will put up the new docs. They have a new structure and a new tooling set. It looks pretty nice. You got it to show?
I forgot the URL. 1 second.
Oh.
I have it in another account.
New-docs.keptn.sh.
I wrote doc instead of docs, maybe. Okay, at this resolution. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You can see this is the new website. We have nice features here. I think Moritz already did a demo of how it looks like last time, so I won't go into the details, but you can see that now we have a subdomain, and instead we will move everything to keptn.sh tomorrow in the evening, Austrian time evening.
And just so you know, if anybody, I'll be working over the next couple of weeks getting the contributing guide updated. There are a few things changed if you want to contribute to the documentation. If anybody wants to do anything, ping me or somebody on the group, and I'll tell you, I'll try to get the basics written up quickly so there's at least a PR that you can see. It's similar, it's a different command to build locally and a different URL to look at your local builds and a couple of things like that. But if you're used to the old tools, it will be a similar sort of thing. So that's just a heads up.
And as a friendly reminder, now the documentation should be under this folder.
Yes.
We will remove this one, and then in a following up PR, remove the -new, so we have only docs.
Yes.
Can be confusing. Don't worry, we'll help you if you provide any PRs.
Right. And if there's a couple of open PRs out there that were written in the old one and we'll need to move that content, into the new, but we'll help you if you need to do that. So
Okay. I think we covered this, sorry.
yeah.
Documentation style.
And I was actually going to propose, this is a discuss, we worked on this a couple of times ago, that we go ahead and do refinement first, because I think the refinement is more pressing than this. And then if we have extra time, we could come back to this.
Maybe it's better to discuss with a bigger round in January,
That would be fine too.
because this way more people will have the eyes on this ticket and we can agree on the final way of,
That's
of
true.
styling.
That's just fine with me. Somebody said something that we might not have a lot to refine today, and so I thought I'd throw it in there. But yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. There's no rush on this.
Perfect. Then we have, where should I create the documentation file? How to create a new Keptn metric provider. So Sudipto, I think is your question, right? Or
Yeah, it's my question.
where to put this? Very great question. Multiple places. Yes.
Yeah, we have now docs new and we have docs. So not the implementation, I mean the documentation part.
Yes, I'm thinking if we should provide.
Into the contributing guide.
Yes, or here inside this folder. Or maybe from this folder, provide a link towards the documentation markdown.
I would maybe vote for a small README for the specific provider, which can be linked somewhere in the documentation, and this README might provide a link to the official provider documentation.
Well, for the
So it's-
providers themselves, we've got an open issue to have docs for each one, right? The ones that are, this is how you create a new one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, those are for configuration,
Yeah.
but I would see it under contribute software, yes,
Yes.
because it's a sort of an integration.
Yes, I agree.
And then from here, we can provide a README. So if someone navigates through the code, you can see where the proper documentation is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is it that clear, Sudipto?
yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much for contributing to this. Any other topic for the documentation part?
I'm done. Anybody else?
Okay, looks like nope. So let's have a round of refinement. So I would suggest to go over the good first issues today. So we have something in the code base that new contributors during Christmas, when they explore new projects, they have some time to play around with new tools. They have some entry point to contribute.
Sounds good.
And I need to ask someone else to change the labels because I forgot to log in and it would take me a while. Thank
I
you,
can
Andre,
do that.
Thank you. So the first one, remove
we need
integration tester.
poker?
Yeah.
Do we need poker up? Are we voting
Since
anything?
they are all good first issues, they should be very small, so we don't need to.
Okay. Cool.
So remove the integration test, Anna.
I would probably start from one of the add, but because this has 3 dependencies, this ticket.
So let's go right to left.
They all look the same. The idea is simple. We have linked this proof of concept with a change in an integration task. This is a 1834, where we add something which is called a collector. A collector is a sort of fail part that clicks in the kind test that prints out things or runs some comments if there is a failure in the test. And the idea is to, similarly to what is done in this example, print out the logs of the operator or the CRDs that are involved in the test so that we have everything in the shell and we can remove the integration tests eventually, the collection of all of the logs from the integration test pipeline.
Which is quite expensive in terms of runtime.
Yeah, it's like a couple of minutes, if not
Yeah.
more. And so each of these is for a different subfolder of the test we have. This one is for the analysis. So it points to the analysis integration test folder. This is 3 or 4 cattle tests. And in each of them, we just need to add the log of the matrix operator and the print of the analysis CRD. And this is a copy paste between all of the tests, and it should be contained enough to be a good first issue. The only way we can test it is force the test to fail, like modify something in the assert and see that these things are printed in the shell. And if it works, then it's good to go.
Asking non-maintainer folks, is it clear? Would you be able to tackle these? Or in particular, this one? Silence means yes to me, or so. Sudipo, do you have
Yeah,
any?
I think you can assign one of them to me, list.
But can I ask you, Andre and Anna, to do that, please? Thank you.
Sure, Andrei.
Do I need to comment there?
Yes, please, if possible, comment first and then I can assign it to you.
Can you send the link in chat?
Yes, I will do so. Thank you very much, Sudipto.
Thanks.
Okay, so one for the analysis and another one for the lifecycle operator.
Yes, this is a bit bigger because it's the integration folder, but the idea is the same, just you have to log both metrics and lifecycle operator.
And finally, the integration test for the metric.
Only metric operator logs and HPA if exists in one of the tests.
Okie dokie.
And then there is one for the scheduling gate, which is this is the simplest one of them all. So if you are unsure which one to take, this is the one test.
I'm sending also this in the chat if someone wants.
And nothing, if all 4 of these are done, then the next ticket is about, there is a here link to the pipeline place where we actually store the reports. Yes, getting rid of that and maybe getting rid of the create reports script.
Is the only place where we do have this?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, apparently I need to be logged in to searching files. So this is Maybe can we change a bit the description to say in the definition here that
After blah, blah, blah.
mhm, we should remove the
Mhm.
create report step. So it's more clear.
Mhm. Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you. And
This is just the ticket connecting all of them. Originally, this was an older ticket with everything there.
so this is the tracking
You
one.
can close, yeah, it's just a keep track.
Then can you please, Andre, remove the label from
Yes.
this one?
Yes.
Change also the
Also, just
title.
give me a second.
Sure. No rush. And then I think we have documentation tickets. For this one, Flo, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, so this is about documenting, how to migrate from the manually created Keptn apps to the Keptn app context TRDs. So here, yeah, we should basically document how users can do that. There's also some one open-ended one open question in terms of how we manage the previously auto-generated, or vice versa, the previously manually created Keptn apps. So we need to check out whether we can just do the add the app Kubernetes.io managed by Keptn annotation to them, so that Keptn can take over and know that it can manage them automatically, or if the previously manually created Keptn apps can be just removed, and once the application is deployed, the next time the controller will do the auto discovery anyway, and from there on it will automatically manage the Keptn app.
Is there another issue for anything else having to do, or is this all the documentation for the Keptn app context?
Sorry?
This issue is all the documentation for Keptn app context, right?
Yeah.
Okay. DoD, can we expand? So we're going to need a reference page in CRD ref for this. And we have in the under the guides, the deployment tasks has a bunch of information about context, and that needs to be updated, replaced, whatever for this. And we're talking, I think we probably want to put that in its own in a separate guide. That one is getting too much. So, and then I don't know, would we, I'm almost inclined to put migration instruction if we have a guide page for the Keptn app context. I'm inclined to put the migration information right on that page, unless it gets really large. So what does anybody else think?
Sorry, too many points, so I forgot some of them.
Okay,
For the last one, the migration, I would say it's covered by this point, and you want to have it.
I'm asking whether we want a separate page for that, or make that part of the page under, well, now user guides, but it'll be
I
guides.
think it should be part of the upgrade. Not really. Doesn't.
No,
Oh,
there might be a link there, but
hmm.
if you go into deployment tasks, and then you can go on the left, where you see context in the left frame. From there on, this is here. I think
In the
this
right.
Right, I'm sorry that I write with my right. This is my, I say it, it's been a long night. I think this should be pulled out and become its own page with the content updated / replaced with Keptn apps. But that, and then I'm thinking that part of that page would be the migration. I don't know that we want a separate page for migration. What does anybody else think?
I think having them separate might would definitely make sense. And then, yeah, I guess we might need a new guide, of course, where we document how to make use of the newly introduced features. So that means
Yeah,
the open telemetry span across multiple stages, how to propagate that, and then also how to pass on the context metadata attributes that will be added as attributes to the created spans.
yeah. Well, you're good. This is good. This defines what needs to be documented. And then when somebody gets into the writing, they've got some latitude, can see how it fits together, right?
Mm.
Anything else that you would like to cover, Meg, or
We don't have a mention of a CRD ref page for the new resource.
There is in the Epic separate ticket, but it's a
Ah.
draft as far as I see. I think we had this discussion last Wednesday and
Okay,
Mo
yeah.
started it, and
Okay, we're not putting that as a good, this is not a good first issue, right?
not really?
Yeah, okay. Then, yeah,
You need
we'll
to
work on it.
know all the feature works and everything. So
Right.
and updating the code examples.
maybe Flo,
Is this an epic or a single issue?
I believe we discussed last time this should become multiple issues, or probably that is why there was still the ready for refinement label.
Ah,
It could be.
yeah, because I'm thinking
Each of them.
yeah, could be a separate issue
right.
because this require quite a lot of effort. This one
Mhm.
also a bit. So I put it on hold and we can then split it. Perfect. Oopsie, wrong key. Then document how to deploy a webhook sync in installation section.
Ah, this should be a good first issue. I thought I had it marked, but it went away. Basically the getting started guide has them set up a sort of a faux webhook sync for that works that's just a fake thing to use for the getting started exercise. But we do not in the main docs. Now, as I understand it, if they already have an endpoint set up, they can just use that. But if they're setting up a new sort of production environment, they need to set up an endpoint.
I would
And
say no, because in this guide created by Adam, the goal
right,
is to show that from the task we send some payload and it uses this webhook site tool to do
yeah,
the things. But in
right.
production, the task can do whatever you want. So they don't need any webhook sync.
Yeah, I misspoke there, but it's how to set up an endpoint if you need one for Keptn. And I'm hoping it's a very short piece that just links to Kubernetes documentation. And then do they need to do anything to hook that up to Keptn, or if there's an endpoint there where Keptn hit it?
I think everything is well defined here in their own. So in the link provided by the guide,
Uh-huh.
there is here how you can do that.
Okay, so really what we just need to do is in the installation say that if you're going to deploy, if you're going to use release lifecycle or deploy pre and post tasks, you need to set up an endpoint, and if you don't have one,
You
go here for instructions.
Don't necessarily need it.
No, it's because of the task that Adam uses for this demo. You need that. Because you see, he's setting up this specific task that does a curl towards this website that you can run locally. But this can be something else based on your needs. This is just a very specific example of Adam for this very
Right, this is
specific guide.
temporary. Okay, let's say that I start with a blank Kubernetes cluster
Mhm.
and I set up my Argo or my Flux to deploy, and I want to do pre and post. Do I have an endpoint automatically?
You don't need this endpoint.
You don't need an endpoint at all?
No.
How is the webhook? The webhook's just gonna, we've set up
The-
the webhook when they install Keptn. There will be a
No, we
webhook
don't
for
see. We don't set any webhook. That's the thing.
Okay.
It's on the task definition. You can call any endpoint. This can be, for instance, a get to google.com and present the query results. It can be a ping towards, I don't know, something else, or it can be a check against your, how is it called? Monitoring system to see if the cluster health is okay or bad. You can check against the metrics of Kubernetes to see if you have enough CPU available. So you don't need any endpoint with Keptn. It's based on
Okay.
what type of task you want to run. You need to configure the task accordingly.
Okay, and I don't think, maybe it's just my ignorance. I don't think that's documented. For somebody who are new to Kubernetes people, they've got to do something, right? I mean, maybe it's,
Uh,
or
Do you mean in the instruction on how to use pre and post deployment task?
maybe
Or do you mean in
maybe
the
it's
guide?
there. I was thinking it went in installation if you wanted to do this, but maybe it's in your tasks. Um,
So probably in this guide,
this guide is getting started. The point is to make sure that this guide is something they should do once to get the big picture of how it works, and then they should be using the other documentation.
yeah, where it's stated that for demo purposes we use this. I don't
Right.
know how would I phrase it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
This
may
is
just
ju-
be a discussion in the guide chapter about your options of what you have to do so that the webhook gets this. Let's talk about it offline. We're obviously dealing. I think there's something that's missing, but I'm not sure what it is, so I'm being an idiot and wasting everybody's time. But
Okay, let's do this. Let's put
need
it on
discussion.
hold.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or, yeah, good point.
yeah.
And we can discuss next year.
Yeah, maybe if
Out
I
of
see
clear
what's done
mind.
in our examples, I'll get a better idea. So,
And this one, document refinement process in contrib guide. Describe what we're doing here, basically.
it's actually, that came the question, what is refinement? It's, but I think what it more is how do you, if you want to propose new development, the whole thing about how you create an open issue and with the DoD, and then what goes on in refinement. I actually, Stacy plugged me on this one, that, what is refinement? What does it mean? And that anybody can discuss, etc. It won't be very long.
Yeah, I think this is a very great first issue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in Kubernetes and in other repo, they have something like this, specifying what are the processes. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Because I think, well, going forward, for instance, if we do GSOC, I think we'll want our GSOCers to do issues with this sort of format, right, for what they're doing. Probably epics, but
Perfect. Then the final one for today, define some basic Kubernetes info to include in Keptn docs. What would you like to have here, Meg?
This is Stacy and I actually were just talking about this. We don't we were looking, I've got to do some more. I'm sorry, I meant to have that as research, not ready. Yeah, not ready for I don't know if it's ready for refinement or not. We did notice Argo CD has a little piece in front but there isn't much in Kubernetes, and a lot of what at a quick glance, it looks like Argo CD is a link to a class that's out there for Kubernetes or whatever. But for these people who are coming new, there's a few basic concepts that. So I
Giovanni,
meant this to just research.
there is the link in the definition of done
Ah,
already.
yes, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, this was the research one too. Of course, if anybody is out there who's interested in helping to research this and talk about it, more than welcome.
I think this is also a very good first issue, honestly.
Yeah,
Because it's collecting resources and put it.
that's right. Actually, what you need to know to develop piece was, I think, one of the first things Rakshit did when he started with the project, because he was having to go out and gather all this stuff for himself. So
Yes, but this is buried in the contributor guide, and
right, well, it's different. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you have to be familiar with Go in order to use Kubernetes or use Keptn.
yeah, there is this list.
It's
But
under
this other
general.
documentation would be more about
It's under
if
general
you want to start with
information.
the tool. Okay, here you can learn about Kubernetes. Here you can learn about Helm.
Right.
Guess, yeah.
Yeah, and it's under general information.
I think Argo does a good job there.
Yeah.
Perfect. And this one we need it for next year. And I think we are at the end. Any other ticket that you would like to discuss or bring visibility to? You can also provide links in the chat. Okie dokie. Otherwise, if there are no further things to discuss, I wish you a nice holiday and see you all next year. Thanks everyone for joining in the very last session of this year.
Yeah.
And yep, and one thing that I wanted to say today that I forgot. We have also in this was the thing that I had on top of my head. Sorry to hijack this. But in the new website, we will also have a new blog section.
Oh, yes.
And since we have Yash here as well, I would like also to include in the blog a link towards the different talks that we are doing for Keptn. So we can also advertise more the work that we are doing around the conferences. And yeah, and if you want to write a piece of blog for Keptn, here's the place. And everything can be handled through a simple PR. Andre already did one. Did you already merge it, Andre, or? Okie dokie. Okay, closed.
Just search in the latest commits.
Yes,
Here
it
it is.
is.
Oh yeah.
So a blog post is nothing else than yet another markdown file. So it should be quite straightforward to also review and discuss stuff. And with this nice Christmas present, have a nice end of the year, everyone, and see you next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
See you in
Bye-bye,
2024.
everybody.
Bye.
See you.
Ciao.
Bye bye.